All right, so today I wanted to talk about this article from the National Post titled Majority of Albertans Still Opposed to Provincial Sales Tax Despite Province's Growing Debt, Poll Finds. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get into the article. You can go check it out for yourself if you want, but they basically go on to say I think the number, 62%, um, yeah, 62% don't want a sales tax. 52% of people under the age of 35 want a sales tax. So again, it seems to be, again, Alberta-wide, not popular. The young population seems to want it, but I think that would be largely explained by the fact that, again, younger people are less likely to be working, so people that are less affected by it. But again, I've made videos, a lot of videos about this, some of them very recently, and again, I wanted to bring it up again because I thought this was an important point that, again, a clear majority of Albertans do not want a sales tax. Um, and I would hope that, I mean, it seems to be that under the UCP, they're not going to do this, which is good, but the bad news is that it's looking like the NDP are going to win the next election. Now, the other thing to bring up too, though, with that is that I think it's 2 years away. I don't know if there's I don't know remember exactly how provincial elections work, to be honest. I think that they can call them when they want, but I think it has to be by 2023 or 2024. I think 2023. Um, so again, it still could be another 2 years before we see an election. So a lot can change between now and then, to be quite honest. Like a lot can change. I mean, look at in the States. Like Trump was looking great right up until the whole virus situation, to be quite honest. Um, so again, a lot can. I mean, same goes for Canada too. I think most people thought Trudeau was going to lose, but turned out they ended up winning. So I wouldn't completely write off anyone at this point. And again, I think people forget the fact that I always bring up is that most people will vote for the same party no matter what happens, right? I think people really seem to forget just how partisan the average person is. Um, but again, like I said, I brought this up a lot before, and the reality is that I don't think we need more taxes. What we need is we need to cut spending and we need to increase revenue in ways other than cutting taxes. And this is another reason why I think that the leftists of the world are crazy, because if they were reasonable, um, and they heard something along the lines of, okay, um, you guys want to increase taxes because you want to increase revenue so you can increase spending. If we could find a way to increase revenue without increasing taxes, would you be for it? Because I think that's a really good question to ask these people, because I think it's really puts them in a bad situation, because no matter how they answer that, they look bad. Because if you can increase revenue without increasing taxes, well, why would you increase taxes? If they say no to that, it makes them look very, very, very partisan. Either way, it makes them look bad. Now, um, increasing revenue without increasing taxes is easier said than done. But coming out of this whole virus situation, it's really actually rather easy, really. You just have to open up the economy. Now, again, the Kenny government seems to refuse to actually listen to reason and evidence and open things up. Even the WHO has been against lockdowns for quite some time now. There's almost 20 states reopen right now. Have any of them had any issues? No. Florida's been open since May. They've been perfectly fine. South Dakota never closed. They're worse than average, but they're still not even in the bottom five when it comes to death rate. Again, same goes for Georgia. I think they reopened shortly after Florida did, and they're perfectly fine, right? So again, like at least if you ask me, this stuff, none of this stuff makes any sense. So again, if Kenny really wanted to help the economy, that's what he would do. And another reason why I think it's so important is that most of the rest of Canada is shut down. If Kenny reopened things, that would give us a massive head start compared to these other provinces. Like a massive head start. And that's something that really concerns me, is I think coming out of this, assuming Kenny continues to beat around the bush and do these half-assed approaches, Alberta is going to be in a lot of trouble coming out of this, because now the Keystone's gone. That's more oil and gas jobs that have been destroyed. We have a lot of businesses that have been destroyed. So again, what is Alberta's approach going to be coming out of this? I really have no idea. Like the UCP have presented no realistic plan that I think is actually going to do anything to help get us out of this mess. Like nothing. They say they want to do a bunch of stuff, but running a bigger deficit doesn't actually help. Now we know what the NDP's plan is. It's nice they're honest with things. Now again, their plan would be a complete disaster, but at least they're honest. It's spend a ton of money and hire a bunch of government workers and give people lots of free money. Again, it would be a disastrous plan in the long run, but at least they're honest with their plan. The UCP's plan seems to be beat around the bush, go back and forth as much as possible until I don't even know what the goal is, like I said. So um, if they wanted to fix things, like, and this is the point too, like getting in the right direction is such a simple fix right now. It's no new taxes, cut spending, open things up. And for the love of God, find some ways to innovate. And again, not like I said, the NDP always talks about innovating, but their way of innovating is just print a bunch of money and just give universities endless amounts of money. No, that's not how it works. If you look at real innovation in society, always comes from the private sector, at least 95+% of the time. Like, can anyone name a major innovation recently that was done by the government or was government funded? Elon Musk is the prime example of that. Like, the guy basically made the whole electric vehicle industry a thing through the private sector, not through, I think they do get government money, but it's still largely private sector. SpaceX, largely private sector. Like, again, like all these major innovations in society come from the private sector. So if we want to innovate as a province, all we have to do is get out of the way. And this is the thing people don't seem to understand, is they don't realize just how easy this stuff is. All you have to do is create an environment to where it is incredibly advantageous for entrepreneurs and for people to innovate. That's all you have to do, is just get out of the way. Cut regulations, cut taxes, make people want to innovate. But when there's high taxes, high regulations, government can destroy your business for no reason whenever they want, who in the world would want to innovate in an environment like that? And again, this stuff should be common sense, that, like I always bring up, like this stuff should be common sense that 5-year-olds can understand. So why can adult human beings not get this through their heads? I really don't get it. Now again, it comes back to the amount of propaganda they've been fed in public schools and on the mainstream media and all these other areas, but this stuff should be very simple. And there really isn't much of a debate here either. Like, there's places that have tried the endless taxes, the endless regulation. There's plenty of places have tried that. Has it worked? Not really. Not really. And that's something that it should be really easy to and this is the thing too, like people like to compare Canada and the US, right? They like to compare Canada and the US, but people don't realize that even the more moderate or areas of Canada are still worse than the average US state, and the average US state is still very bad. Like, people seem to think that we have this good balance between the free market and between, whatever socialism, or a market, we have a good mixed economy, I guess is what they would say, but we really don't. Like we are, like if we're on a spectrum, we're probably like we're definitely closer to the far end of the anti-free market side as we are the free market side. Like an ideal standard when it comes to a free market, what remnants of that do we have anymore? Like hardly anything. Hardly anything. I really, and this is the worst thing about it too. Like, why not try something different? And this is the thing. This is the reason I think that this is proof that you can tell that the Kenney government, Jason Kenney, are complete sellouts. Is that what do you have to lose? Like seriously, what do you have to lose? And this is the thing about assuming that the people advising these people are actually advising them to do what they're doing. These people have no idea what they're talking about. These people, again, you can tell they're just brainwashed by the political science idiots of the world out there, and that they think that they still think that the political spectrum is the same as it was 20, 30 years ago. They still think that all these classic myths, what they don't understand is, in a nutshell here, is that if you're a conservative, the NDP and the liberals and the leftists are going to hate you no matter what you do. These 99% of the time, to be quite honest. And same goes for the mainstream media. Like, I don't understand how they can't get it through their heads. Jason Kenney and these kind of people, like, the NDP is going to hate you no matter what you do. The CBC is going to hate you no matter what you do, at least with a 99% chance certainty. There is definitely an outside chance. I'm not going to say it's 100%, but almost a guarantee they're going to hate you no matter what you do. Why not take a chance? I really don't get it. Like, I don't get it. And the most likely scenario for why they don't take that chance is because they're sellouts, right? That's the by far the most realistic scenario here. So that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. But again, at the end of the day, Alberta, we don't need more taxes. We don't need more taxes, right? And this is the other thing too, comparing Alberta to the states, is that like Alberta has, what is the provincial tax, like 12%? Like, do they not realize that California, one of the highest state taxes in the states, is like 13%? Like there's states in the US that have no state tax. Alberta is supposed to be this not far right, but the Texas of Canada, right? But our provincial taxes are comparable to California, the left-wing paradise, right? So this is another thing people really don't understand, is that we already have high taxes. We just don't have high taxes compared to socialist places, basically. But that's like, again, like that's like, on the flip side, comparing us to like a no tax or a flat tax place, right? So that it's a big problem that people don't seem to understand, is that we already have high taxes. Like the average Canadian, I think it's like, working Canadian at least, it's like 42% of their money is taxed. If that's not enough, then what is? Right? If that's not enough, what is? And this is the way you know that the people that want more taxes are incredibly disingenuous, is that they never tell you an actual number. Right? When it comes to, oh, the rich have to pay their fair share, which isn't an argument. Whenever people make the whole fair share, or we got to pay for whatever is fair, they're confessing they don't actually have an argument. They're confessing they're not actually in a place to bargain. But um, the other point is that, why do they never tell you the actual amount? Like if someone making $1 million is paying half that money in taxes, they're paying $500,000 a year in taxes. Probably actually a little bit more when you include property taxes, carbon tax, other forms of taxes. And yet someone making 50,000 a year is paying what, maybe 10, 15,000 in taxes. So they're paying, you know, more than, what would that be? Tens of times more. Like, is that not enough? Like, one person's paying 500, the next person's paying 10. Like, that's what, 50 to 1? Is 50 times more taxes? Is that not enough? I don't know. Again, I think everybody should be paying less taxes, um, if any, to be honest. Um, but again, this is the thing that I really can't stand about these people, is that if their worldview was actually correct, then they would be telling you the amount. Like, just imagine if a millionaire was paying 10% more. Somewhat the average person pays, let's say, I don't know, 20,000 in taxes a year, right? And the average millionaire was paying 25,000 in taxes a year. Do you not think that the rich have to pay their fair share? People would be bringing that up. That, oh, this millionaire only paid only 5,000 more in taxes than someone making 50,000. Do you not think that they would be bringing that up? Like, of course they would, right? So this just goes to show just how dishonest these people are. Same thing goes for when, prime example, when Rachel Notley complains about the UCP cutting spending. Do you think that if Alberta was spending, 10, 20% less per capita on public sector spending, do you think that she wouldn't be bringing that up? Like, of course she would. Oh, the UCP are cutting spending 20% below what Ontario is spending, or BC, or Quebec. Like, of course, she'd be screaming that from the rooftops. But does she tell you that the UCP are cutting spending, but we're still spending significantly more than the average province per capita? No, right? So again, like the dishonesty of these people, it bothers me so much it's not even funny. So um, anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out those links below. Follow me on those other platforms if you haven't already. If you want to donate, you could do that as well. Again, I would appreciate whatever support I can get. So check out those links and stay tuned for more.